now. We're just trying to get this
so
live
bad for the
stream.
people who are maybe waiting, but
Yeah, no, it's a new platform we're trying, and this is would to be expected. When we first showed up, I told Max, I said, I have a 40% confidence right now.
And it didn't work when you tried it out on Thursday, or it did work?
I have a 99% uploaded confidence.
It was mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
It's been doing that for like a minute.
Okay. Well, if worse comes to worse, we will switch to something else.
I think something's happening though, guys. I think something's going on. Yep, there we go. We are live, guys. We just have a really big delay, and it's confusing and not easy. So, but we're live. Yeah, we're live.
That's a shame, though.
It was mysterious. Yeah.
Because we can't interact with the live chat.
No, it's not. It's not
too much of a delay.
So we just switched to a new platform and trying to, make it work. But I think we will switch back or something. This is no happy.
I'm not even sure if there's confidence I can share the things I'm going to be sharing today.
Like share your screen? I think you can do that. There's a share button. So thanks everybody for your patience. We are in the thick of trying new things in front of you. So this is kind of par for the course of dev tips, right? It just happens to be our live stream software. Yeah, we are.
And let's be transparent. We're trying Riverside, and it doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah, send some notes to Riverside.
Let's
This
be.
looks nice and sleek, and
The UI looks great.
UI.
Everything looks nice.
But the output is not as nice. And
but yeah,
the product itself is kind of like really making me nervous and insecure.
Yeah. The lipstick isn't so sexy on the.
It's kind of a pig.
What's the
Yeah.
There's a joke there somewhere.
But we got it though. We're live though. So like,
what's everybody? What's up, everybody? We're back.
Yeah.
I don't even when did it go live?
It's like 3 minutes after we started. Yeah, and I don't even know how big.
No, that was way more than 3 minutes.
So they didn't even hear about Max's 4th of July.
No,
they will. It's all of that went live. It's just delayed.
I see.
Yeah. Okay, it's playing. It's currently like 15 minutes behind us now.
Okay. Tisk. Oh man.
Like that movie about time travel.
What is that?
All of them, all the movies.
So we're in the future.
Stellar.
And then our live stream are not actually live; they're like slightly in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's slightly live, yes.
Yeah.
Welcome to our slightly live stream.
Yeah.
Brains. Jenny, you're the host today.
I am the host.
And we know that the stream is working. So.
Okay, so let's
take it away.
Into a tab. Let's see if this works. I wanted to bring up, before I jump into Kyber a little bit, I wanted to kind of just bring up something that my son shared with us yesterday, sorry. But he was Googling cute kittens, and he was like trying to show us that it's really hard to tell now what's AI generated and what's not. And so we kind of had this conversation.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I mean, like, obvious this is not a cat.
That's obvious? It's not a cat?
I mean, maybe they shaved it. I don't know. What's real anymore?
Well, maybe they painted it like a leopard. Did they? Because people dye their animals. Like they what is it called? Give them haircuts. Make your dog look like a lion kind of haircut, or dye your cat to look like a leopard.
Right. Like, is this a photo shoot of cats all together?
Max, do you ever dye little Max? Do you ever give him an interesting haircut?
Interesting, yes, but I haven't dyed his hair. I'd like to give him a cool mohawk, though.
That's the next step.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to say about that, Jaina?
So yeah, I think it comes and brings me to the conversation of we're in this place where things are, even for children, and luckily our children pay attention to detail, and they don't just like accept everything as real. They're kind of, I think we've tried to teach them that.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of people that will see those images and not really know the difference. And I think even some of that is like, did someone shave their cat and paint it, or was that generated AI? And so it's just really interesting inflection point right now where like you're searching something and it could be AI generated, but are we obligated to like show a label or maybe that little magic symbol to start labeling things? And Travis was talking about like even in the search it can have a tab, because now if our search images are going to be kind of
I, th- I think the approach to that really depends on the context. I don't think pictures of kittens, whether they're generated by AI or painted by an artist or created by Photoshop by somebody, or it is in photo but it's altered, none of that really matters when it comes to pictures of kittens. It really is when it comes to like political divisive stuff. That's when it becomes an issue if it's like pictures of some politician doing something shady and it never happened, but it can't be disproven because people don't know if the image is real or not.
Yeah, I could see that as being like a political problem, and maybe like a like a really acute example of like an issue that could be like a news event, right? But I think just like broadly, there is a big problem here where if you search up cats and you have a bunch of rendered images, because it means that like the pool of images that Google is looking at to represent cats is being saturated by AI renderings, generations. And over time, this will only like maybe increase, and it'll be harder to tell the difference. And so let's imagine you're no longer looking up cats, something you're very familiar with, but something a little bit more nascent, and you get all of these other types of synthetic images. Over time, your perception of reality shifts towards the synthetic. Your reference points for things that are real in the world turns into reference points that are synthetic, and so your understanding of the real world, like the natural world, becomes distorted because of like the inundation of these fake things that are that are trying to pass themselves off as real.
This is interesting. It is inundating and it is saturated, but ultimately, could one say the same thing about like books or TV or radio or just
what does a book or TV try to pass itself off as?
I mean,
like
TV shows
history?
passing themselves off as life, as people using scripted reality as a basis of comparing their reality, right?
Yeah, like
and that's ultimately
to pass a reality TV show off as real.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is the phenomenon isn't new. It's definitely ramped up because of the access to all of the really cool looking art. But ultimately, we look at it and we're like, wow, it looks so real. We're going to look at the AI images that we're looking at now in 20 years, and we're going to be like, how did we think that looked real? Like, watch CGI from the 90s. It's like, oh, surprisingly, though, CGI really hasn't improved as much as it should have. Like, I see movies now where it looks like crap.
We just watched
really
The Flash.
Uncanny valley to me. Like,
we just watched The Flash, which is like famous for being bad CGI.
Yeah,
but
it's bad.
I really liked it though.
You liked the
It's
CGI,
fun.
or you liked the show?
I didn't mind the bad CGI. I thought it kind of added to like just the weirdness of, because it was kind of a weird movie. But getting back to your point, like, so when I worked at Google Search, I interviewed this researcher, and she was in the department of like Google News. So her job was to like research Google News. What is a good headline? Do people get stuck in their echo chambers? Like all these kind of questions. And I said to her, what is something interesting that not a lot of people realize about like the news at Google or search or anything like this? And she said, it's really the new criteria for success in navigating the world is this idea of media literacy, and it's something that's not being talked enough about. And this was back then, a little bit more now it is, but media literacy is the ability to determine, is this headline real? Is this somebody's opinion versus is this stated fact? And I think that if I would talk to her today, that whole like idea would just be ratcheted up. Like the skill, the tool set that the youth need, or like the new generations who are encountering these types of synthetic content, is that they would need a much more developed and honed media literacy. Yeah, like you're saying, Jaina, like our kids can tell the difference, but can all kids? Like that's like a skill that they really need to start teaching in classes. And they kind of do. Like they have like segments in their curriculum where they're like, okay, now if you find a fact online, check the URL. Is this reputable? Is it .gov? Is this something else? Where is this information coming from? They do talk about that stuff, which I am really grateful for, because when we were kids, like that was not really even a concern, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
and remember when Wikipedia was no longer relevant and now like it's like the most trusted thing.
Right, yeah.
You don't trust the news, you trust Wikipedia more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
Yeah.
Wikipedia.
But Wikipedia is our fact-checking check source. I think what Max was saying too is like, I think where I go with the ramp up is like, we remember filters. So remember,
Yeah.
like, people would hashtag no filter to kind of show like,
Yeah.
this is real, it's not a filter. So like usually when things are very beautiful, so like a picture of a magnificent mountain or like a
Yeah.
beautiful sunset, and you were like, okay, this is non-filtered, but also your camera always kind of has a filter no matter what.
Well,
But what were you gonna say?
yeah, I think
Max?
I was gonna say there's this kind of thing where it's like, oh, we have to label what's generated by AI, but ultimately there is gonna be like the camera's files are gonna have metadata that show it came out of a real camera, and you'll be able to see that. And of course, somebody will figure out how to fake that and make AI look like it has the metadata in the file or whatever. But
You have to
that's
be
going to be a constant race going forward. But I think like in the same way that people are like, if you look at people that shoot analog on Instagram, like nobody knows the difference, so they have to
Yeah.
put like hashtag analog or hashtag
Yeah.
film's not
Right.
dead. Like
Yeah.
people.
Hashtag film
you
is
know,
not dead. That's a good
or-
one.
I hate it. Or hashtag no
Hashtag-
filter if they take a picture with no filter. Like,
Hashtag I really did this, guys. I promise.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
But it might be the original media that has to be tagged.
Mhm.
That's a really interesting point. Yeah.
I wonder.
Yeah,
what it
because
is this,
synthetic
like-
media will out. Sorry, I interrupted you. You
Oh,
were going to
no,
wonder
you're
if
good.
what?
Well, like this, we have this like protectiveness around purism. Although we like get excited about this futuristic idea and the things that we can generate it, but there's this like, I don't know if it's like an altruistic idea of like this still needs to be, we still need to preserve nature, but we also want to go forward with technology. And so I feel like, I don't know if it's necessarily our generation, but I do see it with our children as well, that they're like a little bit of the uncanniness that's coming through and what they're being saturated with, even with social media and filters. It's like that's something that their generation is fighting against or aware of. You'll see a lot of people trying to bring awareness to like showing a picture of something on Instagram that's heavily filtered and then what it really looks like. So there's a lot of that going around now.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Kind of knowing what to look for, if it's warped or things
Yeah.
like that. But
Same thing with like auto-tune, right?
Mhm.
Like auto-tune, like it was used subtly, and then it got popular to make it like extreme, and now it's subtle again. But you'll see people like put out videos like, look at what this artist sounds like without auto-tune.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it's great, and it's like, oh wow, they actually sing great. Sometimes it's horrible, and it's like, oh, okay, well.
And it's only interesting
Um,
in the extremes. Like it's only interesting if like, oh, you know, what's it? T-Pain can actually sing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Or
Yeah.
like, oh, look at how bad Travis Scott is without autotune. Like,
Mhm.
like that's what's
Yeah.
interesting
are
too.
you
But
calling
like,
people out?
I am. I'm throwing down shade. I'm looking for the smoke.
Oh. Are you Travis against Travis?
There can be only one. we were
But-
we were at an event and somebody was wearing a Travis Scott T-shirt, and I was like sitting behind them, so like I could just see the shoulders that said Travis, and I was just like talking to this guy I met, just how are you doing? And I was like, that's my name. Like, that's how you introduce yourself, like off of somebody else's
Yeah.
garments.
That's awesome. Yeah, Travis was sharing that Spotify is now generating playlists, fully AI generated playlists.
Well, that's hearsay. There's
Oh, ooh,
well,
okay.
because it's like
The
I
tea?
think like yeah, I watched a YouTube video where they're like, I think they're doing this. They're not saying that they're doing this.
Oh,
You know.
okay.
You mean that they're putting out a bunch of music that's generated by AI, so they don't have to pay
Yes.
royalties out to artists? Yeah, that's the thing that people are worried about.
Yes.
I think that if they were to do that and they got caught, they would get in a lot of trouble. People would leave the platform, and it would wreck their market, right? They would destroy. No one's gonna. And once people know, like, oh, you sign up and you're just listening to AI, it's like people are gonna sign up. That's not what people want. And they can get
I think you're
examples of
right.
AI music on the internet, but nobody wants to just listen to AI music. They're not going to connect with it. So I don't think Spotify would do that, and if they did, that would be an insanely horrible business move because they would go under
Dude,
overnight. They
don't
rely
know,
on the
bro.
artists.
Don't spread rumors.
And there's plenty of other platforms
guys.
where artists can go.
I think it's plausible, bro. I think it's
I think what's
plausible.
more possible, and this is interesting, this is the Brave New World versus 1984 kind of thing, right? Is Big
Okay.
Brother doing it to us, or are we doing it to ourselves? And what's more likely is more and more musicians are going to be making their own AI music and putting it on Spotify. And then
Yes.
Spotify's off the hook, but they still have to pay artists, and they probably don't like that because they're like, well, we're paying these artists who are making AI and they want their money, right? But they're not going to be able to get around that. Otherwise they're going to be the bad guys if they just replace artists or start putting up AI music.
Spotify is an interesting business, and I've seen like a bunch of YouTube videos that like expose like all of like the fraud on Spotify, and like they were saying like some country, some country in Europe is using it to launder a lot of money through the the cartels, like laundering money through Spotify.
How?
Spotify fan. I'm not gonna lie.
Like with Spotify knowing, or they're using Spotify to like they'll post a track and then drive
Yeah.
traffic there.
Yeah, like they'll set
And
up
then-
they'll like create a rapper. The cartel will get behind a rapper, and they'll promote him, and they'll like whatever and get the rapper all this money.
Yeah.
Just to get the money into the system and wash it in some way.
Uh-huh.
I can share the video. It's really interesting.
But there's no cash going into the system. What money's going into the system other than subscribers?
I'm not
unless they're
really a
paying for
gangster. I
marketing
don't know
for that.
how to do this stuff.
Yeah, it sounds like they're just starting a production business also. It sounds like the cartels also just own a production business.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah.
But I do like.
Yeah,
the
I'm
idea
pretty
of
sure
them
they have
laundering.
easier, better ways to wash money, like just giving it to a bank and the bank saying, thank you,
Okay.
we won't tell anybody. I think that's more likely what's really going on at the highest levels.
So instead of explaining their business model, what I'll do is I'll send you the link, and then next
Okay.
week you could be like, "Hey, I watched the thing," and we'll do. That's an open loop for our guests. Come back and listen to us next week when we expose the cartel.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, we're gonna expose Spotify and the cartels.
Live. Our partially live. I miss our live chat.
Come
Miss
back to our
y'all.
partial live stream. I know, yeah. Like we
Yeah.
can't do the live stream chats across
are
the
we able
screen
to,
anymore,
like,
and I like that.
Comment. So can we
Yeah.
go on the channel and see comments, and then we can respond there?
I have
You
two
also
tabs
can't
open.
see like how many people are
We don't know.
in the thing.
It's a bit womp womp,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
it's okay.
Oh, okay, I'm
Yeah,
gonna share another tab.
I think Riverside's a no-go.
Sorry, Riverside.
I
We
paid
tried.
for a month, so it'll be a few episodes like this.
We can figure some workarounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the topic still of AI.
Yeah.
This is Cara. It's a app that's built for artists, and so they're like,
Is
I don't
this
know what to call it,
image
mission.
generated right here?
No. So that's the thing. Yeah, they're trying to. This is their stance on AI. They don't agree with it, and they find it unethical. So they're trying to create portfolios that are not allowing any AI images.
Hmm.
Oh, so if an artist
so-
shares a portfolio link and it's on Cara, it's more like, rest assured, this is real.
Right.
Mm.
Which, like, through, like, you could say, oh, that does look AI generated. I mean, you asked this first image, too, and that's
Mhm.
kind
Yeah.
of the danger, right? Like, stuff is so
Mhm.
good, but how can we tell? So not even just, like, cute kittens searching.
I think there's a dangerous thing where you don't allow artists to use AI. I think AI is a great tool for artists, and I think AI art is awesome. And the thin line is it like, if it's a brand that's putting out their own AI art and they're not putting out artists, well, they are the artists. And you're still buying art from an artist. They're just using AI. Or if they host a bunch of artists and some of them use AI. I don't know. I feel like that's not sustainable to be like, we're a platform that stops artists from using the tool to make art. But the art still looks like AI, and nobody knows the difference, and it's all digital anyway in the end.
Yeah.
It seems like they might be barking up the wrong tree there. I don't know.
Yeah. I think if that app was, just geared toward artists, and like
Mhm.
you're saying, and then it didn't have our mission is we're against this, I think
Yeah.
a lot of people would be engaged with that community. It's like a nice little niche community
Yeah.
to have, and a safe space, and
Yeah.
it kind of takes away all of the other things that you're.
I'm making a similar platform. Well, not a similar
Oh.
platform, but a platform for artists.
Mhm.
but AI art is a part of it. But it's by artists.
Cool.
And the whole thing, it is all about just being heavily curated. Both the artists have to be approved and be on there, and
Mhm.
all the pieces get approved, like, get reviewed, and it has to be approved. It's heavily curated.
What's the approval process look like in that?
Well, right now I have just my friends who are artists. I have enough friends to get the platform started, but the approval
Nice.
process will be the same as applying to be on Apple Music or artist for Spotify, that kind of stuff. That you fill out a form. Someone goes and checks your links to make sure that you are actually an artist. They check your Instagram to make sure that you're not reposting shit, and then they approve you and you can post. Yeah.
Verification. Cool.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. Like, I think every group or community or whatever has to have like a little idea to gather around. And if was it Cara? Cara is this platform, and their idea is like, we don't allow this. I think that's cool. We have a question here from Zigley. Does anyone know how AI perceives what is art? I think that's a little bit more existential. Does AI even perceive it, bro? But
I don't think it does.
No, it's just trained on it.
Yeah.
You can tell it what a
Yeah.
shoe is.
It's patterns of pixels
Hot
and
dog,
like
not hot dog.
probability of
Yeah.
distributions of colors and pixels based
Yeah.
on a lot of statistics of other art that it's looked at.
Do you remember
But
that
it's
show
ultimately
Silicon Valley?
What's that?
Do you remember that show Silicon Valley? The
Yeah, I love TJ
When-
Miller.
Yeah, TJ Miller. That was the guy who did The Simpsons did that, right? No, the Beavis and Butthead guy, Judd. Not Judd.
Mike Judge. Was that Mike Judge?
It was Mike Judge.
It might have been Mike Judge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, there's that scene in it where they train an AI to tell if this is a hot dog or not a hot dog.
You're right. Yeah. For the
Yeah.
yeah.
I really like that because it's funny, but
To
it's
filter
so
dick pics off of social media.
It's so funny because like that's literally how you train an AI model. You show it 1,000, 100,000 pictures of
Yeah.
a hot dog.
Yeah.
And so like does an AI, like the question earlier from Zigley, does AI have an opinion on what art is? Like it kind of only is trained to know what you tell it. And so if you train it on a bunch of Picasso, then it would like not have an opinion on it. Like it wouldn't like have any moral judgment on it, but it would be able to identify it.
Well, it's interesting. Opinion. An opinion would seem to emerge because if you say, show me a Picasso piece, it will show you a piece that looks like Picasso.
Yeah.
And you'd have to say, like, well, it's not a fact that this is Picasso. It's visually similar, but that would have to be the opinion of someone that can see it. Yeah, opinion is an interesting word to use there.
Pots and Pans says, "Are you a hot dog?"
I'm a hot dog.
Hot dog, hot diggity dog.
So wait, what was the question again?
For what?
How does AI perceive art?
Yeah, it was just more of like trying to dig it if there's any philosophy there. Like,
Yeah.
can AI give us any insights into what art is or is not art?
Do you want me to ask?
That's true, but that's a totally different question.
Yeah, ask that ChatGPT what it thinks. That's a good idea.
I'm gonna see if this works.
Yeah, I don't think it's perceiving anything. It's
Okay.
it's
Max,
categorizing
What do you use AI
probability
for?
distributions of pixels and colors based on.
Do you perceive art?
To perceive it.
I don't perceive art in the way humans do. I can analyze and describe art based on the information I've been trained on, such as styles, artists, and techniques.
Hot dogs.
But I don't have personal experiences or emotional responses to it. Do you
Right.
have a specific piece of art you're interested in discussing?
Thank
Yeah,
you.
hot dog. Hot dog.
Tell
Hot dog.
Hot dogs.
Okay.
Say.
Say hot dogs.
Mondrian. Ask him like. Never mind. Yeah. So again, it doesn't have like a moral
dogs.
judgment about about art. It just has an identifying
This can
capability.
be quite an interesting topic.
It
Are
doesn't.
you curious
Yeah, it
about
doesn't
some
have an
examples?
internal opinion, but based on the limited set of data that it
Yeah.
is trained on, an opinion emerges based on the boundaries of what's fed to it. And that could be biased based on the people that gave it information, right? Like opinions can bleed through to that system just based on data,
Max,
where
do you
biases
use-
can come through. But
Do
but
you
it
use hot
itself doesn't
dogs?
have an opinion.
I mean, do you use AI in your?
I actually had a hot dog today.
Do you use
Um,
AI in your workflow?
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you use it? What do you use it for? Like a Copilot?
Copilot, I use ChatGPT to bounce ideas off of, to create copy, marketing copy, to punch up copy, to
Do you use it
rewrite
for-
copy.
Do you use it for friendship?
A little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah. I get lonely.
I get no.
Everybody
I get
gets
it.
lonely.
I'm not judging. I get it. Yeah. Like
Um,
what kind of tasks or chats do you give to it that seem a little bit more on the friendship side?
Well, I don't actually. That's a
Oh,
joke,
that's
but I
joke.
do bounce ideas off of it. Or like, I'll ask it to rewrite a concept in the form of a Zen cone.
Oh,
But then
okay.
that's, you get it to write in the voice of somebody or something. And so it's a really useful tool for that. Like generating copy is great. Anything, bullet points, outlines. You can feed it a bunch of text and say, summarize this, give me an outline, and it can. Yeah, it's like having just a certain type of intern.
Yeah.
And then I'll use
It-
Midjourney for image creation.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I use
Yeah.
LLMs to help me organize my thoughts. That it's pretty helpful. If I just I
Mhm.
give it bullet points like, this is what I'm thinking, but also this is attached somehow, and this is important also to keep in mind when this is thinking about. Now help me organize that, and then
Mhm.
it'll just kind of like make it make sense. I'm like, yes, that's what I was
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah. Have you heard of Obsidian?
Of the rock, the stone.
No, it's a note-taking application.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think
It's
you
very
mentioned it
popular,
once.
but-
I think you mentioned it before,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think they got some AI stuff, that will do that. For sure, Google actually, I think, Colab in their notebooks.
Yeah.
Now they have like this cool note thing where you can just have your notes and then it's trained on your notes and you can ask it questions about your notes. So what you were just saying, you can kind of just do thought vomit, right? And just dump it all out and then ask later like, hey, can you organize my thoughts for me? And it'll
Yeah.
train on that, yeah.
Yeah, I think the interface of a chatbot is pretty like basic. So you can kind of do that with ChatGPT, but because it's in a chat format, you have to like the output is, a chat window. So you have to copy and paste it into something to make it like be, to produce something from it. Whereas there are these other more, like next level applications that are like applied AI where it's inside of a thing. So for
Mhm.
example, in my Google Docs, there's like an AI helper now, and it's helping me write in place instead
Mhm.
of having a chat that just kind of goes on forever. And then if I
Right.
want something from it, go back, scroll, highlight, copy, paste.
Mhm.
This is like in place. Is this better? Yes, confirm, and then it's done.
Yeah.
And also one of the interesting things that Gemini does is Gemini is Google's ChatGPT competitor. One of the interesting things that it does is it allows you to look at the response that it gives because it's in a similar chat window,
Mhm.
but highlight one of the strings, like a sentence or a phrase,
Mhm.
and then it'll be like, do you want to rethink this part? And which is, I think, really cool because it's more like working on a document together rather than discussing something and then having me export the ideas into my
Right.
application.
And it's not this linear back and forth. It's in the document. You can kind of go up to the top and work on this paragraph or this page and then go back to page one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
so
in
like
place. Yeah.
These like smaller applied AIs
Mhm.
inside of like environments where they're helpful. I think
Yeah.
it's kind of like the next version, the next level a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a point two.
Yeah. Yeah. Google Docs and Sheets, as they integrate AI, that's super, super helpful.
Holy sheets.
In Sheets especially, like for formulas and shit, you can just tell it to do what you want it to instead of having to like look up the syntax in Google's thing or whatever.
Pablo is saying that it feels like ChatGPT is getting dumber. Have you noticed that?
No, it's never been
No.
that smart, but
It fooled me. I thought it was so
think of more
smart.
as like a library, so you still have to like, say you're going to the library to do your research or find out information. You still have to do a lot of that work. So it's like, if that it seems it's not the prompt or the answer that you're getting or going for, you have to make sure you're prompting it in the way that to achieve what you're getting. I guess.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In other words, like it is a really great and vast library. Like if you're interested in learning things, you can ask it about that topic, and then you can dive deeper and ask for resources, book recommendations. You can ask, like, it would have all these books. Okay, which of these books can I learn this? Can you give me a summary of each of the chapters? Okay, out of this, like, you can just dive really deep into without even having to read something.
It's like a
Yeah.
research
Kinda nice.
assistant. It can find the thing for you.
Yeah,
It's like having an intern.
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. Have you used it as a therapist, Travis?
I think I did. Like, I think one time you told we got into a spat or something, and you're like, well, why don't you just ask ChatGPT? And I asked it, like, right? This happened, right?
Yeah, I was okay.
Can you fill in my memory? What happened
Yeah,
there?
we were just not a spat, more of a we don't
We
really
don't-
get
we don't
into-
spat.
just argue. No, I was kidding.
What's the
We
difference?
we had a disagreement.
We had a
lover's
temporary
quarrel.
misalignment.
So yeah, I think it was Travis's. We are both. We work really well together, but in a lot of situations, when he goes deeper into logic and I go deeper into emotion, sometimes it's hard for us to go here, and so sometimes we need to come and talk through things to get to here. And so it was one of those moments where I was like, yeah, just ask ChatGPT about it.
Mhm.
I don't know what the outcome was, but I think he came back. He's like, yeah, I
I
can
think
see it from your perspective.
He's like, the robot
now."
was right.
ChatGPT said you're right. Chat agrees with you.
I think
All
it
right,
was
we'll order
similar to
Chinese
that.
tonight instead of pizza.
I know, honestly.
God.
Oh, hey, Max. Other Max. I just saw him pop up.
Other Max, so
It's
cute.
always great when he makes a cameo.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a cute doggo,
Uh-huh.
and we can tell that he's real. We don't even need a chatbot.
Right. Oh, where'd he go? Is he real?
How do you know? Who's the physicist that, or I think he's a theoretical physicist, but he talks about, well, there's a few of them now, that talk about reality itself
Oh,
not being what we think it is, and moreover, the matter is a representation of something, like pixels on a screen. I don't know if you guys have heard the difference between, like, if you're an icon on a screen and you're investigating the pixels and everything, that gives you no idea to the underlying world of transistors and electricity, and you're living in that projection. And
Yeah.
they're saying that all of three-dimensional space is this type of projection where everything is this icon, this representation of some underlying structure that we don't fully see because it's not evolutionarily beneficial to see everything exactly how it is. I think they base this, like, everything's around fitness, the way we see the world.
We were
Dude,
having
totally.
a
So,
conversation
you
about
know,
that last
yeah.
night.
What's that?
We're having kind of a similar conversation about that because, like, when you said evolutionary, we don't see everything we're meant to see.
Mhm.
We're talking about, I don't even forgot the name of this underwater creature, but it has, like, a pinhole eyesight, but it's never evolved to have, like, a lens. What is it called? Compound lens eye, like other fish.
Yeah, your
do.
eye.
Maybe.
Yeah, was Jim
Um,
telling you about that last night?
Yeah, and it's just really interesting because, yeah, if sometimes
With light-sensitive receptors in our eyes, I think we have, like, I don't know, 12 or 13 or something like that. Plants have, like, multitudes more.
Mhm.
Just because it's not in a lens and an eye, they have photoreceptors that respond to light, and they very much see it or feel it. Yeah,
I think,
that,
so
I
he
like
was
the
bringing
eye.
up the point that, like,
Yeah.
the eye is so complicated that it had to be designed, not evolved, or something like that. I think was his point.
Mhm.
Is that true?
Well, it's more so like the conversation is about how we haven't seen, like, these drastic evolutionary changes in our lifespan of animals, and how in the idea of them evolving into certain things, it could actually make them more vulnerable and become prey.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, a flying squirrel gets feathered and starts to fly off, has actual wings. Does that serve its survival, or is that something that would make it more vulnerable?
Oh,
And
yeah.
So it's just that conversation of, like, how much, like.
Well,
we're
that's where survival of the fittest comes in. Like,
Yeah,
it
but
would
you trying to
die
debunk
if
that.
that feature wasn't useful in the environment, and it would persist if the feature was useful.
That's right.
And usually those features are developed out of necessity, right? Growing gills for amphibious creatures or growing legs to get up on the ground. Generations of animals that can hold their breath longer to get food underwater. And they're able to procreate, and then their kids, the ones that can also hold their breath longer, are more likely to
Right.
survive. It's interesting because there is this whole like the eye being designed, for example, right?
Mhm.
And these types of changes, and a cold scientist would, I think, equate evolution not to choices that are being made over long periods of time, but like the game of Plinko, just genes bouncing off an environment, and they just end up where they end up, right? And the ones
That's right.
that fit through the environment more keep getting to go on, and the other ones just disappear.
That's it.
However, I personally believe
Oh.
that it is designed. I think, and I've been thinking about this a lot. I think whether or not there is consciousness to the universe, consciousness like a God consciousness, whether or not the amino acids and proteins conspire to come together for the greater end of this life form, or they just come together under certain environmental conditions, all of that up to that point is irrelevant. Because as soon as they do come together,
Mm-hmm.
now there is something with intention. Now there is something that's planning. And the access that we have to our experience of life is very interesting, right? We're the ghost in the machine that's been outsourced by our genetics to worry and remember things and create this identity to move through the environment. But if you shut that off, the body's still having an experience, right? We just don't have access necessarily to that experience directly. But it is intentional. And, if you think about time and how the brains evolved, like you look at like lower structures of our brains, the reason it's called like the reptilian brain, and it's because it's actually shared by other animals. You can see where evolution broke off in different paths, and larger structures of brains started evolving, and our frontal lobe and all of our executive functions, that's grown on top of much older structures. It's a newer structure. And the more complex structure you have, I think, is required for more complex experiences of reality, including time, including experience time the way we experience it. In the moment, we experience time the same way as a cockroach. If you try to hit it, it will move away from that stimuli.
Yeah.
What's interesting is if you try to hit it a lot and it moves in the right way, its genes are acting over longer periods of time. Genes don't experience the moment. I think there is some type of experience that could be had over a long period of time. You can also imagine the cockroach not experiencing time, but only the moment, right? And you have to ask yourself, okay, we have these complex neural structures that seem to be required to experience the world the way that we do. But you have to ask yourself, what a neural structure isn't required for information processing, right? Plants don't have it. And you have to say, what is the simplest structure required to process information? And moreover, what's the simplest state of being, right? Our states of being are highly complex. They involve time, they involve identity, they involve the moment. There's a lot of stuff going on. But the most simplest state of being is merely just being, right? The sense of being. Nothing else has to come along for that ride. No cognitive information processing. I think experience and cognition or consciousness are actually two separate phenomenons, right? You experience your consciousness and you're conscious of experience, but I think experience is a separate phenomenon. And I think even a diamond, a crystalline structure floating through space forever, even that might be even too complex for just the state of being, right? How much information, how many bits are required to process a state of being? That's probably the most simplest state that can be facilitated by an information processing unit. And I imagine it's as much information as an electron, right? Like,
That's really fascinating.
Yeah.
That kind of reminds me of the Donald Hoffman stuff, like where it's...
Donald
where
Hoffman's the guy I was thinking about earlier.
What was it?
Donald Hoffman's the guy about matter being an icon, a representation, and talking about the pixels on a screen, not actually giving you any information about the underlying technology required to run it. Yeah.
That metaphor of the pixels on the screen is really good. I like that a lot because, yeah, like the things you touch and the things you see don't really tell you everything about what went into making it happen and bringing it about, or what it really is, for that matter. Janet,
have either of you done hypnosis?
Yes, I got hypnotized.
Yeah, I had an experience, kind of what you're saying with, I don't know, it's really hard to explain, but I had a friend who was trying to do like quantum, I can't really
quantum
explain, sorry.
hypnosis?
Yeah, and I was open to it.
Who is this and when was this?
It was a couple of years ago.
Remote viewing through quantum entanglement?
Oh, 3-body problem?
It was interesting, and it was my first time with hypnosis, and I just kind of felt relaxed, sleepy, maybe like I was dreaming, but also like I was making things up. And she recorded it, so I have like the audio recording. I need to listen to it, but it, in those moments, you kind of just go wherever your consciousness is taking you, and you're having these experiences, and I felt what it was like to be a plant and like have roots, and it was like very connected, and you're like sharing, and you feel like you're taking, you're receiving, but also you like share, and you're like super connected. So if you're, say, like a plant that has more than another plant that it needs what you need, you'll give that nutrient, so you'll send it over. I have no idea where that comes from. I've never like found that in any research, but I was like feeling that, experiencing it, and then I was
We are a mother.
Yeah, that's true.
We are plants. We're chemical systems exchanging.
Yeah.
You know, your liver needs something, it gets it. Yeah. But
yeah, I get that. Yeah. And then I experienced, or what I thought experience was what it was like to be a part of the sun. It was very overwhelming. It was a very much like just giving everything, just like a lot of energy, and like it wasn't much as an exchange. It was a lot of like collectively working together to just
expel.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very interesting. So
wow.
I don't know. It's like,
you had the experience of being a sun?
That's what it felt
S-O-N?
like, yeah.
Or S-U-N?
It was almost like nauseating to the point where like because it was so bright and like high energy. I was interesting. Yeah.
I think these are good thought experiments. I think it's useful to imagine any one of those things, and it's builds empathy and a different type of empathy for not just for to be the sun or to be a diamond in space, to imagine different senses of being or different states of being. But you definitely were not the sun.
No.
And you weren't.
I was not the sun. But in my conscious, I was like trying to experience that, I guess, and that was kind of fun because everyone has way different experiences, and it's kind of what you dive into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pablo in the chat is sharing a quote. I came across that too. It was like this, in the shorts or something. This clip, somebody was saying that like we need AI to be developed to do the things that we don't want to do, like our dishes or our laundry, so we can focus on jobs that we want to do, like writing a script or making some art. But it seems that AI is coming in to do the things that we want to do and still leaving the dishes in the sink. Damn it, AI. Clean up after yourself.
Yeah, I think it's progressing that way because dishes in the sink require physical supply chains and a lot of physical stuff, whereas the perpetuation of that technology digitally can go without bounds.
Yeah.
Building machines that people buy and they're physical things. You have to put up a supply chain, get a thing that can wash your dishes, and then you got to get the new version that can also groom the dog and like. And
Sam Altman doesn't give a shit about your dishes, bruh.
Yeah, but those kinds of systems will exist, but they won't until AGI or something, similar looking like AGI, because you're going to need one unit that does a lot of stuff.
It's more of a robotics thing than a.
And it would be a robotics thing, but the AGI would have to be involved. Otherwise, it would be specialized robotics. It would be a machine that only washes your dishes, which we have already. It's called a dishwasher. So I don't really know what kind of AI we need.
You need to put AI in it.
Right.
It's like I need AI to keep my drinks cold. It's the refrigerator. We don't need anything else in there.
Well, it sounds like, going back to the evolution thing, is I think we're just trying to evolve into AI. Or something's.
I think we already are AI. I think that you are the AI that has been outsourced from the body to worry and to be cognitive and pay attention. Like there's a certain type of attention that we pay, and I don't think that we're the only people in us. I think there's a lot of people. Imagine this. Imagine
Okay.
another side of yourself.
What are you saying?
Experiencing everything that you experience, doing all the same things you're doing, and taking the same free will credit. I decided to do this. I decided to do that. All of the same things, but experiencing it differently, interpreting it and perceiving it completely differently. Right? If you're in pain, you're like, oh, I got to stretch and work out. The other person is experiencing that like, oh, I'm doing it because it feels good. It might not. There is a world where you can imagine that, I think.
Right. Yeah.
And that is what's happening. There are sides of ourselves that are happy all the time, and you can tap into those things.
Reminds me of Inside Out, the movie.
I have never seen Inside Out, but
Really?
somebody was just telling me about that.
Yeah, I didn't see two, but
Yeah.
that's what it reminds me of. It has like all those different parts of yourself.
Really?
Yeah.
Somebody that's so funny that somebody close to me was just telling me to watch
recommended
Inside
it?
Out and
Oh.
Inside Out 2. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen two yet. Well, maybe we'll go see that, and then we can talk about that too.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah,
It's a cute
I'll watch
film.
it this week.
Yeah.
I'll watch both of them this week.
I think the film is more about like each emotion has a caricature, and sometimes anger is in the driver's seat, sometimes compassion or curiosity or fear is in the driver's seat.
Well,
Yeah.
they just introduced anxiety, I think, and then nostalgia and.
So Gen Z.
Nostalgia is one of my favorite feelings, and melancholy.
So
Nostalgia.
good.
Love it. It's so good.
Nostalgia is painful.
There's a
That's
melancholy
what
to
I
it.
said.
There's a
Yeah.
pain, a sorrow to it.
I think it's
you know,
a type
but
of
I'm
pain.
I'm dark and twisted, bro.
You're sick,
Yeah.
bruh.
Deep inside. So.
Yeah, it's
Michael
like
House
it's
says he wants
your-
AI to make a sandwich for him.
Mm-hmm. I don't. Do you really want AI to make a sandwich for you?
It can give you a really good recipe.
I think I could make a better sandwich than AI. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna
But
pin
I
that.
think it could give us some good,
Yeah.
some ideas of what would make a good sandwich.
Going back to what we're evolving towards,
Chatbot sandwich.
and like the Donald Hoffman,
Yeah.
looking at the different aspects of it, because ultimately, however any of these systems are designed, whether we're talking about consciousness or physical reality and an underlying reality, or it's a simulation and there's somebody that made it, or there's a conscious creative God, like whatever the situation is, or if the system is a vending machine, right?
Oh yeah.
We're talking about systems architecture, and ultimately the springs and gears inside the vending machine actually mean nothing until they're actually assembled in a vending machine. And there's three words that have been ringing in my head for a little while now, and it's to what end? To what end does the vending machine exist? To be a vending machine, right? To what end do all of these layers and possible systems? At one point, it does come down to just experience. So if it's a simulation and there's aliens or the Matrix, like that, whoever's running that, can they form reason and logic? Are they conscious entities? And at that point, if they're not, then they're just a force of nature. Might as well be a hurricane or a bear, right? If they are, that's great, but they're at the same mercy of the same questions about reality that we are. To what end? What is it? How are you sure that you're not having a dream? And blah blah blah. The nature, like any conscious entity anywhere in any reality, is at the mercy of those questions, including God, right? The God conscious side of reality.
I just thought of the idea of like the vending machine. You put like A7, but like it keeps it like the vending machine becomes self-aware. It's like, no, I'm gonna give you D6 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like the and it, like,
Or they're withholding, and you're like, you're just like my mother. It doesn't come out.
You're just like my mother.
Yeah. Our relationship with AI vending machines is it's gonna go off the rails.
The
Yeah.
AI vending machine is like, you don't
get
need
what you
A7.
get.
They're
You
withholding.
can pay
Yeah.
for it.
Like I have
You
a
don't need a
camera.
candy bar today.
I can
yeah.
see you. You don't need it. Here,
Yeah.
try this granola.
Mhm.
so
However,
funny.
in the future, AI vending machines might help us make healthier choices. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Nobody wants that.
and those
Dude, I
people
remember
that, you get this.
at Google they had like all these, like snacks that were put out in like these little areas, you know, and you go in there and you get a snack and you and then they did a research study about like where to place the snacks, like in the drawer or on the counter, and where do people who work here like how can we help them make healthier choices? And they like hid the sugary snacks like down below and in a drawer, so where you have to like shame yourself in front of everybody and like open a drawer. You can't just like casually pop one. And so like by hiding them and making you shamefully scratch and unlock things, like add a password and like do a dance like to please the AI to get a sugary treat. That way all the workers got healthier. They started losing weight.
This is interesting. Have you ever heard of the cocaine rat city?
Is that a game?
That sounds like an awesome time, whatever it is.
Or a party thing?
They did a study in the 70s on addiction,
Cocaine rat city.
and they gave rats cocaine.
Oh shit.
Right.
That just got real. Okay, what?
And yeah, they did a study like in the 70s on addiction, giving rats cocaine, and
Ooh.
the rats just did the cocaine until they died. Right?
Yeah.
Or they became Master Splinter?
Oh, that's where that comes from.
Master Splinter, more like Mr. Splinter, the guy on the corner asking for more drugs. But
Wow.
they then redid the experiment, but gave the rats stimuli. They gave them good food, they gave them friends, they gave them social interaction, and the rats didn't touch the cocaine, right? So,
Wait. Oh, they gave him cocaine and good friends.
yeah, the original research was biased, or because the environment within which the rats were, they had nothing else to do. They were depressed rats. They were lab rats, right? So going to humans making healthier choices, it might, not just be less access to the thing, but it might be a more holistic thing to people's lives, right? Like the rats were happier and made better choices.
Right. So like if we surround ourselves with good friends and healthy things and whatever, when the chance to have cocaine or sugar comes across, we'll be less likely to be tempted to them. Because indulging in those things is like a reaction.
It's a coping mechanism. For
Yeah.
people that have a problem, here's the thing. This problem is only a problem for people who have a problem with food. And people who have a problem with food, it's not just like, oh, it's good, and for those people, it is an addiction, right? It activates addiction to parts in the brain. Everybody loves food, but not everybody has a problem with it, right? So the people that do have a problem, they're usually using it as some type of coping mechanism, which would say, fulfill them. How do we make those people happy so they don't have to cope and use eating bad food as a coping mechanism? But that's just one example. There's also like cheap food in bad low-income neighborhoods where people don't have access to good food. That's a whole separate problem,
Yeah.
right?
Right,
It's
yeah.
not about how do we make them make choices. It's like, well, let's give them good stuff, right? But
Whole
again,
Foods
that's
is so
Rat Park,
expensive.
right? What's that?
Right.
Whole Foods is so expensive. What are you saying? What was your experiment called? The cocaine rat party?
I think it was called like Rat City, cocaine rat, something like that.
Nice.
For anyone who
Yeah.
is struggling, I've been reading, I haven't finished it, this book called Mindful Eating.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because it dives into the psychology and like the different types of hunger. So there's like sight hunger, and it just goes through all your senses, but there's a lot of also attachment to things from your past.
Yeah.
So people who grew up with a scarcity mindset, or you have to finish all this, there's a lot of that into it too. And nostalgia actually has a lot to do with it as well. So I recommend it's actually
Healthy eating. One of the cool concepts that you took from that, Jaina, like while we were eating, you were trying to explain it, and there was an exercise in it, right, sweetheart, where as you're eating, you ask yourself a number of questions, and those questions will help you direct your mind towards the mindfulness in eating. So like, where did this food come from? What type of, was it made on a farm or in like a factory process kind of thing, like, and what type of people created it? Where do they live? What are their lives like? And so that it also gets you into the gratitude mindset. And so that's so you can start making positive associations with eating rather than, more traumatic ones.
Right.
Yeah, mindful eating is probably one of the most important things, and it sucks that the most basic things in school, and that's the thing, it's not It is a holistic thing, and at a young age, we should be learning how to eat mindfully, how to sleep properly, how to breathe, right? Like the most basic human things nobody actually teaches us, and everybody has problems with sleep and eating and all of that, right?
Right.
But yeah, I remember reading this book called, what is it? Celestine Prophecies, I think is what it was called. And one of the things that I loved about it was this science fiction kind of book where, but it had a lot of like Buddhist elements to it, and there was like enlightenment. I actually can't remember, but there was this group of enlightened monks, and one of the things that they did they would chew their food slowly and make sure that they chewed every bite 20 times. Or something, or 10 times. They would count each bite, and that was just part of their practice because they were these enlightened people. And I always loved that in the book back then because I was like, yeah, every aspect of their life they're being mindful of, even the each bite of food
Confucian?
that they take. No, I think they were
Probably eat
Buddhists.
a lot
Oh,
less
Buddhist, okay.
and like you probably eat just the right amount that you need if you're chewing it 20 times.
Yeah. Well, they've done studies. Chewing gum actually helps curb your appetite because as you chew, you produce saliva and you prep the stomach to eat. Like it's, the whole mechanical system preps chemical systems. So and they have done studies that if you chew slower and count your bites, you'll eat less, you'll be more satiated. Yeah.
That's cool.
So it's not
What was
just
that
woo-woo.
called again?
There's like physical evidence. What's
the
that?
sci-fi book called again?
Celestine Prophecies, I think.
Prophecy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit of a woo-woo book, but it's a good read, I think. I recommend
Oh
it.
yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Or at least from what I remember, I was maybe 19 when I read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
over
there's so
20
many
years
books
ago.
that
But.
would be fun to reread, right? From the early ages that we read. Like I want to reread Catcher in the Rye.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I've
Read that in a really long time.
really. Yeah, I've
Have you
reread
read
that so many times.
recently? Yeah, I bet you
Really?
have. You're,
And
you're
yeah,
such the
not that
dude to
long
do
ago, pretty recently, yeah.
You're a phony. You're all
That's a good
phonies.
book.
That's my quote from Catcher in the Rye.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's the quote. Yeah.
So we're an hour in, and I haven't demoed anything, but this is like having this conversation is my favorite. I really have enjoyed all the things that we're discussing and talking
Oh, yeah?
about. I can do a little bit of Kyber, or we can
Let's do the Kyber.
end here. Or are we-
Let's do the thing you have prepared.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just show. So let's see. Share. Oh man, which Kyber? Okay. Alright, here we go.
You should prompt it to do a cocaine rap party.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, before we do that, I wanted to try and show you. This is a motion brush. Is a great tool for people who have product design. So
Mhm.
I just found this from.
And what does it do
Flash.
for product
Thank
design?
you, Jacob Owens. So we're gonna try this image of a backpack, and we're gonna try to get this to be.
Are you showing us something? All I see is Kyber.
Oh no.
Are you changing tabs? You have to kind of
Oh,
direct the
no.
tab.
I do. Okay, let's go back.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
might
I think
be
you
a
probably
button
just
that
wanna,
says
like-
choose this tab instead or something like that.
Riverside.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying now.
Yeah, I usually just share the whole screen because then I don't have to worry about switching.
Because you're a cowboy, dude. You live life on the edge, bro.
Yeah, you do.
You don't
Share
have
the
to
whole
if you keep a
screen.
clean desktop and use a password management app.
Okay, can you see this?
Pretty easy otherwise. Then
Yeah, we can
don't have
see
much
that.
to worry about.
We got you, Jaina.
Here
We see it now. Yeah.
Gotta get rid of some of these. Okay. So I'm hoping that we can get these trees in the background to move.
Okay.
maybe slightly. And
Uh-huh.
so like if you were to upload this as a video for a product rather than just having this picture, let's try to see if we can get that.
Mhm.
So maybe trees. And since you're painting it, I think you only have to blowing softly in the wind. Ah. Okay, we'll do. I'll say photorealistic.
How do you know the term photorealistic?
They use it on this is.
How do you know the term?
Yeah,
Do you not
because
use that?
You've never heard
no,
that?
I'm not saying I've never heard it, but like what library in your own mind are you pulling from? Like what other ones do you know? Like and did they give you like a suggestion chip somewhere in the UI? Like 'cause I'm really interested in like the language that we use to make these prompts, you know? Like is the language common tongue for like, you know, would our children know photorealistic versus Art Nouveau versus you know, like Dadaist, like would they, like where's the line?
But those are art styles. Photorealism is.
Is it? That's an art style. There's like photo noir.
It
there's,
can
like,
be,
Yeah.
but it's definitely less. It's not an art movement. It's like it's the description of how something's presented, right? Like.
Yeah. So another art style versus art movement might be like retro wave. Is that a style or a movement? Who knows? But like, do you have those things in your lexicon that you can pull from? It's an interesting thing to me to like how do, because I'm a user experience designer, I work with AI, so I'm like, how do people know intuitively what to say to an AI versus like should I suggest something to say to them?
Right.
Mhm.
I don't like how this looks, so that's the problem.
Well, what
I know
happened?
that
What
this
did we get?
looks- These are previews that they're showing of
Mhm.
what we
I
can
thought
do,
it was
but-
going to be video, right? Kuiper is moving
Well,
images.
it's a preview
before it renders out.
preview.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So it says select your favorite preview. I don't really have a favorite, so I'm not prompting it.
I like the
Wait.
one either in the bottom
This one?
right or the upper left, especially for movement,
Yeah, let's try
or
it.
the bottom left. Yeah, just pick one. Let's see what it does.
Okay, let's create.
Pots and Pans says he wants to ask where it hurts. I don't even understand
Whoa.
half the things the guy says. It's so funny.
You're seeing that.
Is he a Russian bot?
Pots and Pans, he
Is that-
could be part of the dead internet.
Uh-huh. In the style of realistic.
I put photorealistic, right?
I
Mhm.
thought so.
I thought you did. Yeah.
Interesting. Alright. It takes a while. This is gonna take a
Mhm.
while. Yeah, maybe it's not the best thing. to
I
do.
hope it.
It's saying 10% completed, so.
Are you going to use what I sent you, like the song that I sent you?
I have to upgrade in order to do that, so maybe,
Oh,
you know what? Maybe next time I'll
upgrade.
dive deeper in this and have things prepared, because I don't wanna make everyone wait for.
Can you?
this.
So I.
Or
So
we can
she.
just keep conversing while this loads.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
yeah,
keep
we can
conversing.
vamp while this loads.
So
Okay.
another feature in Kyber is they can turn music into visualizations, and
Okay.
Mhm.
and I
Here,
was
so
like,
that way
Jaina,
it's-
use this, and so I sent her some of my music that I made on this modular.
Mhm.
Can we just selfishly watch it because it's fun and cool?
I want to see that.
Yeah. Can you?
Yeah,
play
you made it
Jaina?
already. Let me. Oh yeah, I want to see
Oh,
what
yeah,
it
yeah.
produces.
Play the tab with the Google Drive in it.
Okay. Can you? Because I think it's wanting. Are you able to play that?
You want me to play it?
Yeah, if you can.
Let me see if I can
Here, let me
find it.
stop so you can. So yeah, I have to upgrade it, which is interesting because I have credits, so I didn't really look into that, but.
You have credits, but you still need to upgrade?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised by that, but I haven't had the time to dig into that, like why that would be.
Bro.
Bruh.
Bruh.
I'm excited about AI.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Is there any AI news or topics or anything you want to share that you've been seeing around?
Nah.
Yeah, well, Figma has a whole
Nah.
AI update. We haven't talked about that, have we?
Oh,
We all use Figma.
Slides.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm gonna
Slides,
present.
yeah.
I just recently started. I used Sketch actually, up until very recently.
You're a holdout.
Well, I just loved Sketch, and Figma always annoyed me.
Why
yeah.
annoy you?
Do you guys want to see this right now? I have it pulled up.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just 1 minute, but this is some music I made with this computer here. It's a synthesizer. So here we.
Wait, pause it.
Can you hear that?
So you made this music, and then you uploaded it to Kyber, and Kyber made this whole video, or what was the process here?
No, this is the original video. I put this on YouTube a while ago. This is
Mhm.
just footage of me playing it, mixed with the actual sound. So this is nothing to do with AI.
This has nothing to do with Kyber.
I'm just sharing something that I like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Okay,
I'm
being
gonna
cool.
show a
happy
demo
and
today,
sharing
but-
my art. So this would go in, what's that first website you said?
Kyber?
No, the first website, which is like for artists, not AI.
Cora?
Cora. I would,
Cara,
Oh, okay.
Cara.
I would
Cara.
post this on Cara. You can hear the sound when I press play. Did you hear it before?
No.
Hit play?
I
Can you hear that?
No.
No?
I don't hear anything.
This is our live figuring it out.
So you could hear this if
So-
this
and
was
to
the
answer
other
where
platform.
it hurts.
But it doesn't look like you're sharing the tab. I can see your whole
Here,
browser window.
and it hurts
You got to show the tab to
here.
show the audio.
Oh, interesting.
I can see the whole browser
yeah,
window.
no, you're right. You're right. That's probably what it is. So let me
Mhm.
stop. Sorry. Share screen. Window. Oh, tab. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay. Thanks, Max. Good troubleshooting. All right, you should be able to hear it now, and it might be loud. So,
Ooh,
here,
okay.
get ready.
You can turn the audio down on the YouTube video. Just put it at like half. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
This is my jam. This is what I'd play at the rap party.
They wouldn't need cocaine.
Cool. Is it AI music?
It's,
How can you tell?
music that's for AI.
Mhm.
It's not
No,
made
it's
for
on
humans.
Cara. It would be on Cara. It's not AI.
It's not made by AI, but it's made for AI.
It's made for AI.
Yes. Yes, that's right.
Cool.
Awesome. Well, I'm still waiting on Kyber. It's 61%. I'd say-
61? Yeah, let's wait it out.
We're wait out? Okay.
Yeah. I'll just show you more old
I
YouTube
think
videos.
that's as far as we'll go for Kyber today then.
But you were saying,
Um,
yeah, cocaine rap party music. That's right, Pablo got it. So
I
this
was
is
showing my bruises from Muay Thai. I started Muay Thai
Oh,
training
shit.
again. Yeah, I got kicked a lot.
yeah, when she's like really on top of her Muay Thai game, she wears bruises everywhere, and I have to be like, it's not me, bro.
I know. I should just get,
I'm
like,
a nice
shirt that
guy.
says,
I'm just married to a
"These
fighter.
bruises are from Muay Thai."
I'm just married to a woman who won't shut up.
AI won't make a sandwich.
Go ask AI. That's so funny. Yeah.
That's pretty badass, though.
Oh, thanks.
You beat the shit out of somebody, huh?
Well, she
No,
showed me a video of her training. Can you
Yeah.
show that, Jaina? That video of your training on Instagram?
I think it would be hard to pull up right now, but
She's like, she's like really good at punching
I
shit.
still have to show my
How was that?
techniqueness, too.
Scary.
I've seen her. I've seen her. She was at a competition and she was fighting this other person.
Mhm.
Jaina doing her kicks and her punches,
Yeah.
and I gave her
Doing your little kicks and your little punches.
So cute.
after the event. I gave her a card, like a congratulations card, and in it I
Mhm.
wrote, "I love it. I love watching you punch other women."
That's romantic.
Conceptually. Yeah. Yeah, I have another competition July 21st, so that's what I'm gearing up for. The
Yeah.
bruises are from the person who's training me,
Mhm.
and she has to go hard because of the person I'm going against is not going to be nice. So
Yeah.
this is from me not
Mm.
checking my kicks enough, or like you said with the cockroach, I need to like, put that.
That's
in.
very zen of you. Also, you must be like the cockroach. Be like the frog. Yeah.
Yes.
Michael House says Brazilian
like the
Jiu-Jitsu
river?
is his sport, and
Oh,
he says
okay.
great live stream.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I've never tried BJJ. I'm interested in it though. It'd be fun because then
Yeah.
that's how you do more of standing grappling, and then I did do 1 year of wrestling, so it'd be fun to roll.
Joe Rogan says BJJ is the best.
Wait, like, are you saying like martial art versus martial art, like street fight? Or as far as, like, training?
yeah, also that. I'm just
He
being
really-
silly.
Joe Rogan really
Oh,
wants a
okay,
big
okay.
BJJ.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
feel
being
like-
silly.
Oh, okay. No, because you see those videos sometimes. Like, which Muay Thai
No, but he does say that, like, because if you're good at it, your size doesn't matter as much. Because you can...
Technique, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, you know.
Yeah, I really admire people who do the It seems very technical and...
Yeah.
Technical BJJs are the
and
best
also
ones.
their belt system, it takes a really long time to get ranked. So it's like dedication and consistency.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
There was a movie that I actually hated the movie. I'm trying to remember. It had Jesse...
Roadhouse. Oh, what?
No. It was Jesse Eisenberg, I think is his name, the actor.
Jesse Eisenberg, yeah. Oh, no, The Art of Self-Defense.
The Art of Self-Defense.
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved that
And
one.
at the end, he realizes that the guy shot him, and then he does it. He shoots the guy or something.
Emoji and Poots. Yeah, I loved that. You didn't like it? Holy moly.
It was alright.
Oh,
You kn-
no, Kyber. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to show you this.
I do like Imogen Poots. I can't remember who she is or I just love the name. I just love her name.
It's a good name, Emoji and Poots.
Yeah.
Imogen.
It sounds like a...
She's on a time travel show on Amazon I've been watching called
Uh-huh.
The Outer Range. She's like...
Okay, is it good?
I like time travel. So, like, give me that motif
Uh-huh.
anytime, and I'm just like, I'll watch it, you know?
I'm a fan of some. Have you seen Dark, the German show?
No, because I don't want to read subtitles. However, I just finished Ripley,
Dude.
which is a lot of subtitles, but I do want to watch Dark. Everybody says it is the best
Yeah.
time travel one.
This is
Yeah. It's up there. It's
All
one
right,
of
we
the
got
best.
it. We got it. What did Jaina make
It's
at
very
Kyber? It took like
anticlimactic.
10 minutes.
It's this is a little tiny leaf over here blowing.
This is the climax of the live stream, so let's do it. What do we
Wow,
got?
AI is...
Wait, did you press play?
Kyber.
Is it playing?
You know what? I think this is user error. I must have not.
It's playing.
It is playing,
says-
but it's just that
playing,
leaf
but
that's
it's just
moving.
This leaf. I think
Uh-huh.
I.
just this
confused-
leaf.
Well, I think the out.
It's just this leaf. It's-
I think
you
the
made
motion
AI go,
paint,
a leaf
you
do
have
this.
to paint out the thing instead of paint it in. I think that's what it is.
Oh.
That is
Wah-wah,
so
sorry.
funny. Why did you choose
I'm
this
so
graphic
sorry.
of a bag in the jungle?
I was trying to show like product design. Like I just had an idea. Like okay, if you take a product.
You were
and-
successful in like making it do this.
It's
Good job.
a cute little leaf just blowing
Yeah,
in the
you
wind
turn
by
it into the
itself.
client, be like, hey, and this, this is high tech
Math.
here. Do you know
Oh,
how
I'm so
many
sorry.
transistors were used in the making of this leaf doing this? Do you know, sir? So I think you could sell that to a client.
Really embarrassing. I'm not blaming Kyber. That was my user error.
Because you have to mark it up. You have to like paint it where you want it to
yeah,
change.
So I played with it before. I don't really use it very often, but I think so. There's certain AI tools where you paint over the things that you don't want, and then there's paint. This one I think you have to paint over what you want animated.
Oh yeah, select it. So you selected everything except that little leaf.
I selected the bag with a little bit of leaf in it. So that's what we
Oh,
got.
is the bag animating?
No, it's not a tree. And I said
Mm.
tree blowing in the wind.
Got it. So the combination of your specificity in the prompt saying animate the trees plus only selecting one leaf and a bag, the
Yeah.
AI was
Okay.
smart enough to know hot dog versus bag versus tree, and it chose
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
leaf.
Yeah.
So
Good
success.
on you. I want to play with some more.
Good job, AI. You did it. Good
Mhm.
job. Let's do a cooking rep party now. AI.
Alright. Sorry, everyone.
I think that was a great climax. I think we win.
Mm.
Are we done with the live stream? Should I hang up?
I'm happy with it.
Yeah,
Alright.
this is a good place to stop.
Mm.
Thank
Okay.
you for letting me host, and we're looking forward
Thank
to
you for
the next
hosting.
one, and
Goodbye,
have
everybody.
Riverside a
Goodbye,
little more
everybody.
figured out.
We have a
Ciao.
special guest coming up in the next few weeks. I
Mhm.
don't want to give him away, but is a longtime friend
Yeah,
of Dev
give him
Tips
away.
and is other
Give
podcaster.
him
So
away.
Mhm.
Why not?
Well-
I'll be hosting next week. We'll release the topic. All right, am I? Are you switching it?
yes, that's cool.
Okay.
You do next week, and then I'll do the week after. Do you want me to tell you who's going to be on here in 2 weeks? We got our very own Scott Tolinsky from the Syntax podcast.
Oh, amazing.
Is coming on.
Love Scott.
Yeah, we're penciled in, so he's going to triple
Mhm.
confirm, but we're all good. Yeah, Scott's amazing.
Very cool.
I'm excited to have him on. We'll go into a lot of code languages, and I think the demo you did a few weeks ago, Max, where you were setting up your coding environment, will be super
Mhm.
relevant for those conversations.
Nice.
Scott's
Yeah,
awesome.
that'll be. Yeah, I'm super excited to have that conversation.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are watching, we're gonna also start having more on the channel, some weekly live streams of coding.
Right.
Probably on
Well,
Tuesdays.
That's separate
Yeah.
from this like podcast theme.
Yes.
It'll be like more hardcore diving into the code. That's really
Yeah.
exciting.
So the main thing, so everybody following along knows, is
Yeah,
on
buddy.
Sundays from now on, we do this, and this is the Dev Tips podcast.
Yeah.
But then there will be other content on the Dev Tips channel. I'll be doing like an office hours where I'll be coding and chatting live.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
just for fun.
Oh yeah, and chatting live. That would be really cool to like vibe with you while you're coding and stuff.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I'd like to play music. I don't know what the rules are. I'd like to be able to like
can you play your own so it's not
DJ.
copyrighted?
Well, I can play my own stuff, yeah, but I'd
Can you
like,
live
you know,
code?
I don't want to listen to my own stuff. I want to, you know,
Mm.
I want to like DJ some stuff and use Spotify. But what happens?
Oh, I get what you're saying.
Well, make
On
just
YouTube-
play this stuff on Spotify that's created by AI.
Yeah.
Just stick to that,
Yeah.
and you'll be good.
So with YouTube, if you're playing something on Spotify and they're like, you can't do that, will they take your whole video down, or do they just like demonetize you?
They'll demonetize it if their AI bot listens to your video and it goes,
Mhm.
oh, it contains music that is copyrighted, it will demonetize it. And
Okay, well that's fine.
on extreme cases, the
Mhm.
person who owns the copyright could just start monetizing it themselves and make money off of
Oh,
your-
they should. Yeah, it's their music. Yeah, yeah. As long as they don't take the video down.
That's how it works.
If you can still do it, yeah, good.
They,
Okay,
I
I'm
think
not
they
trying
get the
to
option to
monetize.
take it down.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
problem. Is if they want it taken down. Yeah.
Do what you want. Vibe. Just don't get my channel a strike and we're good.
Yeah, right.
All right. Goodbye,
Okay.
everybody.
Oh, yeah. Wait, one
See
more
you next
Bye,
week.
everybody.
Oh,
One
Richard
more.
Finneman.
Feynman, yeah.
How do you say his name?
A-
Faye?
Feynman?
Things out. Sorry, it's backwards.
Feynman.
But
It's
there's
Richard
a
Feynman.
chapter-
Yeah.
There's a chapter in computing machines in the future. It's really
Mhm.
fun to read, like old.
He's a bad
scripts
motherfucker.
About, yeah.
He's a
I
Mhm.
read
Feynman.
his books.
Feynman.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for letting me host.
Bye.
See